little $10 gift card got us more information and more interaction than any of our, even the bigger prizes that we've given away did not get as much of that as that little $10 gift card. But we also made it super easy. Just comment here and tell us what you want to talk about, and you're entered for a $10 Chick-fil-A gift card. And parents were just, I mean, the feed was just loaded over and over and over, and we've been able to access that information and use that to build out our content.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Go Rogue Podcast. My name is Brian Fitton. I'm so excited that you are joining us today. We've got a pretty awesome topic and some pretty awesome people that are joining me as well, co-hosting this episode. But before we get into that, make sure that you jump over to GoRogueX.com if you have any questions about anything that we do, but then also what we like to load all of our show notes and all of the information that we talk about today on our blog there, so you guys can check that out. Make sure you jump over to GoRogueX.com, as well as some of our awesome guests. We'll have some of their information in there as well. But I want to bring on our co-host to talk today. So welcome aboard, Miss Amy, and then also Miss Lauren. So Miss Amy, say what's up. How you doing?
Hello, everyone.
Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. And then also Miss Lauren Lewis, as always, rocking the amazing gold headphones. She's just got style that I can't even get to. I keep trying to get there. Can't get. Sorry. So Lauren, what's up? Say what's up.
What's up? You can't compete with my style.
It's so true. So true. So true. Okay, so the topic that we're going to discuss today is something that's near and dear to my heart, because I absolutely love giving value to your audience and your just really even potential customers or customers in general. Make sure that you provide them the value, the easiest way that they can consume that, whether that's audio or video or Facebook, blog, Medium, however they can consume that. You want to make sure to give them that value, because obviously the more you give, the more you get in return. And we've seen that. It works time and time again. But I'm really excited to talk about this. And the reason that we have our amazing co-host, Miss Amy Morgan, on today is because she does this so well, and I just want to have her. She's like, what? She doesn't even know how well she does it. And that's why it's exciting to talk to her, because she has, I step back and kind of see all the stuff that she does, and I'm just always in awe of this. And so I'm very excited to bring her on. And so, Amy, I'll kind of give a little introduction to who you are, rather than just being this random person who does amazing things, right?
Right.
But you are the marketing coordinator for Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics, right?
Very good. Yes,
Yes,
you
I
got
got
it right.
it.
I'm proud of you.
Okay.
Yes.
We always, as terrible as it is, we always kind of mess up PDA and O, or we do PDO and A, and I always remember it's the orthodontics at the end, right?
That's right.
The
It was
O.
an add-on. A few years ago, we added an orthodontist, so it's an add-on.
It's
so
perfect.
There you go.
It's perfect.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics here in Northwest Arkansas, they do amazing stuff, and our children go to them. It is the most fun environment. I wish I was a kid to go to the dentist again. That's how much fun that they've made it. There's in one location they have a jungle theme, so there's a bunch of crocodiles and all kinds of giraffes, and I mean it's all kinds of craziness. And the other one is farm theme, so there are cows and pigs, and what is the thing that's up top that's kind of rotating? I can't remember.
Do you mean in our farm office? There's a horse that actually swings back and forth in a hammock.
Yeah, in a hammock.
Yes.
I couldn't remember what he was swinging from.
Yes.
Do you turn it on and the dude just kind of sways back and forth? It's pretty awesome.
Yes.
And
it's basically dental Disneyland.
It is.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Six Flags over dentistry.
Or, whatever. Yeah.
So actually, Amy, talk to us a little bit about that, because it does it kind of morphs into the topic that we're talking about today, which is obviously bringing value to your clients and customers. But talk to us about, really, we'll kind of focus on one location, but you guys have a really cool theme, and we'll put pictures in the blog and stuff for you guys to take a look at it. But they have just some, like, the iPads, the games and stuff set up for kids to kind of entertain them while they're going through there. I mean, it's like a sensory overlay when they walk in. It's not just like cold white walls and hard seats that they're waiting on, because you guys are really trying to create an experience. So tell us kind of about some of the locations, what the thought process was.
Sure. So the thought process in the beginning is actually our founder. It's Dr. Tanya Triplett. She started the practice actually about 20 years ago. And she became a dentist for kids because she was scared of the dentist as a child. So when she got out of dental school, she went on to do pediatrics because she wanted to make sure that she could provide dental care even when they're scared. And she knew she had a vision even in dental school that she wanted to create an environment that allowed for the child to come in and, like you said a little bit earlier, have that little bit of a distraction from what's actually going to go on. So our clinic's actually separated. The lobby is a huge check-in area with, like you said, games on iPads, Xboxes, all kinds of movies playing. In one of our locations, we have a huge fish tank in the middle. So there's lots of stuff going on to kind of distract them, because some of those kids have a lot of anxiety. Maybe they grew up going to a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff like that. So they're just, that general idea of being in any kind of medical office or dental office can kind of trigger a lot of stuff for them. So we try to eliminate a lot of that, and we're trying to build on eliminating the future fear of the dentist. So if they have really good experiences as children, then they're more likely to continue to visit the dentist after they're out of their parents' home. So that's a big thing that we strive to take care of on that side of it.
Well, and you talked about the anxiety of the kids going to the dentist. Like, parents hate going to, like, I still hate going to the dentist.
Yes.
So the anxiety, like, relieving it to where, like, even I walk in, I'm like, oh, like, this is fun. Like, this is entertaining and stuff. And so I think that's a huge, that you guys thought, obviously, so much and put so much into the detail of that experience for the kids, but then also the parents. One thing that my kid loves is the television up above the dental chair. So as they're laying down, they get headphones, they look up. So I know that's been huge. But it talks about, like, listening to your customer and knowing exactly their pain points and being able to say, hey, we're going to try to help with that. We're going to try to help take care of that and fix that. So that's awesome. That's so awesome. And like I said, I'm very excited to have you on to kind of show us kind of some of your tips and tricks of what you've been able to do, especially in the Facebook world. So we'll probably be focusing just on that today, because really with Facebook, a lot of our audience, a lot of our small businesses and people like that, Facebook is kind of the start, right? We get into LinkedIn, we get into Twitter, we get into Instagram and YouTube and different things like that. But Facebook is really where a lot of small business customers, they live, they want to interact with them. And so, so getting into that, so let's talk a little bit about just kind of knowing your consumer, knowing your customer. Amy, what are some of the things that you've been able to do to really interact with your because you guys, you have a very targeted customer. I mean, you have really it's mom, dad of 1 year old, right? Toddler, or I don't know, when do kids start going to the dentist? My wife took care of it. I'm a terrible father right now. I'm confessing how I should know these things, right? But what exactly, when do you guys really start trying to understand that customer, or I'm sorry, I lost track of my question. Maybe you knew my question. Here, just take it away, Amy. Take it away.
I know where you're going with this. First of all, if you want to go back and watch some of our Facebook Live videos, you will find out that you're supposed to bring your child to the dentist at age 1.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. All right. So, I think it just kind of started. I'm trying to remember exactly what year we actually joined Facebook. It was, kind of how Facebook started out more at colleges and things like that. It wasn't too long after that we kind of got an actual Facebook page and started kind of getting out in the community, started asking for likes and things like that. But it's just been in the last year that we've really pushed to use that platform to be able to get out our message of oral health care education to the community. So one of the things that I really strive to do is within the practice is if I could stand there and talk to the parent all day long about how to take care of their child's teeth, I personally feel like that's doing more than, not more than the dentist, but the appointments
Mm-hmm.
don't have enough time to give all that information.
Yeah.
So for us, and especially with every child being different ages, the parents just don't have that time to soak all that information in. It's just almost impossible to get all that in. So we really started looking at a way that we could get educational tools and educational information out to our audience without having to make them necessarily, read some big long thing that we stuffed into a packet that's just going to go into the bottom of their car, and sit at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom until they're like, oh yeah, I was supposed to read that. We try to put it in a format where it's a video, they can watch it. We've done a lot of stuff that's turned it, turned into more of that, where it's giving them where they can do it on their own time and have, really the time to sit down and do that. So it's been nothing but, an adventure for me for sure for the last year, actually. We did our actual first Facebook Live a year ago yesterday, I think, or the
Oh
day
wow.
before, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. And just since
Congratulations.
then, it's just been more and more and more. And I laugh because I'm always worried about what content we're going to be able to do. But every single time, it's like, oh yeah, usually the person who's commenting on the video is giving me my content, so they're asking for what they need, and that's where we'll go in and develop the next one. So it's been really fun for sure, and it's definitely developed a larger audience for us as well.
Isn't it interesting how just not, well, I guess just listening to your audience in general, like paying attention to what they're saying, like how that has a huge effect on just being able to know what to talk about, because you're the expert. You've obviously been in the industry for a long time, so it's one of those things that you have seen this stuff time and time again. But a lot of times it becomes monotonous, and we just don't pay attention to it. So it's great that you. I mean, if you're taking notes here, that first point is like just literally step back and put yourself as a third person and say, "Oh, what are they already asking for?" That's a huge piece of that. So, Lauren, anything to add? Because I know that you've been able to kind of do some of that stuff with the clients that you've worked with, and what are you kind of seeing through that too?
I mean, I think especially with Facebook, I mean, for smaller businesses, I mean, they want to be able to, at least the audience is wanting to be able to interact with that business. They're obviously wanting the basic information of your website, your hours, all that jazz. But when they see that you're doing so much more than that, that they're able to connect over the products that you're doing or, the services you're providing, and they're actually able to learn about it, when they start connecting with you, you're really creating a long-term customer in a way, just because they're starting to invest in the education materials, and they're getting excited about that. It's also, I think a lot of times we, as small businesses, will focus on, well, I'm just going to do my product because that's all that they care about.
Mm-hmm.
But when we find out that sometimes, like when you start doing giveaways and doing things fun around, whatever, I don't know, holiday or events going on or anything like that, your customers get really excited about engaging with you over that as well. And it just continues to create a really special bond that you didn't think you could ever have. And I think it's really just meeting your audience where they're at, which is really cool. And they
Mm-hmm.
are going to start asking you questions and engaging with you, which is going to further your business to know how best you can actually meet their needs.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of giveaways,
Yeah, I know where you're going already. Here we go.
Amy is the queen of just the most fantastic giveaways and engagement. Her audience just they just flock to you guys. And so, what are some of the best things that you've seen? Because I don't, I'm gonna tee this up a little bit because I know, but I don't think it's necessarily that you have to give away the farm every single time. The farm. It's just all coming back around right
Good
now.
job.
Exactly. But you don't have to give away everything. I mean, there's just a lot of times that you've done some fantastic things and you're very creative. But talk about what you've kind of seen in that aspect of things. Really, what works and what doesn't, or what have you seen with your audience and the engagement that you get?
Sure. Most of the time in the beginning, before we were actually doing these on our Facebook page and stuff like that, we started off with always doing these really cool contests within our practice. So just inside for the patients who are coming to the practice, standard dental office, guess the number of candy hearts in the jar, or how many gold for St. Patrick's Day. We always did how many gold coins are at the end of the rainbow. And we'd have this really big thing full of, gold chocolate candy. The kid only wanted the candy. They really didn't care about how many were in there,
Yeah.
But then that's kind of developed into some other things that we've done. But, some of the biggest ones we've done were, I did literally a $10 Chick-fil-A gift card if they would just tell me what they want to hear from us. And we've given away $100 Target gift cards. We've given away iPads. We've rented out a movie theater. And when we've looked back at the actual content or the statistics of what actually happened from those giveaways, that one generated the most. The little $10 gift card got us more information and more interaction than any of our even the bigger prizes that we've given away did not get as much of that as that little $10 gift card. But we also made it super easy. Just comment here and tell us what you want to talk about, and you're entered for a $10 Chick-fil-A gift card. And parents were just, the feed was just loaded over and over and over, and we've been able to access that information and use that to build out our content that we've been using since then. So it's been really nice.
And I remember us talking about that before, because I think what most people think of is, oh, it has to be this iPad, or oh, it has to be this massive thing.
Right.
But a lot of times I think people feel like they have a better chance of winning if it's something small. Because even with me, it's like somebody's giving away a car. I'm like, I don't really want to take the time to win that, But if it's something really small, it's like, oh, that's easy. I think you hit on something else too. You kind of took down the barrier of customers to interact with you. All you have to do is like this post. All you have to do is share it. All you have to do is comment. Whatever it is, It's not like, hey, fill out this form and go here and go here and go here, and then you also have to follow up with these people and this thing. That just makes people. It turns people off, even if it is your target audience and it's exactly what they want or need. People don't have time, And so that's definitely a big one that you guys have done that I've seen that really works really well. So, what about you, Lauren? Any thoughts on that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just going to add real quick, and I don't even know if this is where we wanted to go with this conversation exactly, but I think for me too is that those giveaways, as far as we haven't necessarily stopped doing paid Facebook ads because we still kind of believe in that concept, but the organic reach we've been able to get from those giveaways versus actually using a paid ad. If we put the same amount of money into the giveaway that we would have in a paid ad, we're getting more engagement and definitely a more organic reach, which is what Facebook wants to see from you anyway. So from a business standpoint, it has helped us to be able to reach those people and to show Facebook that we are, using Facebook for what it's supposed to be used for. And we're not just trying to, quote, pay our way to be seen. So that, I think that's been a huge part of it. And again, it's got the $10 Chick-fil-A gift card, on up to $50 prizes, toothbrushes, things like that. All of those things are still giveaways, but it is actually helping us with our organic reach versus just our paid reach. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you tied things in there too that you said, like the toothbrushes. So your audience. It's hard. It's hard for me as a parent. I'm like, I don't want to buy toothbrushes. I don't want to spend the money on that. I know, Lauren.
You don't want to spend money on a toothbrush.
I'm so cheap. I'm so sorry. I'm frugal. It's not that I don't.
That $3. Whoa.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Hey, Brian, we've got some at the office, and we'll make sure we get you hooked up for that. All right.
See, it's the people that you know.
That's right. Hey, I fully believe that. Yeah.
But I just mean in general, you don't think about it. It's not something that's at the front of your mind as a parent. You every night, we're brushing teeth. Every morning we are, but it is just a side thing because there's so many other things going on. So you're tying your giveaways to obviously the people, because you're not just saying, but you're also making it fun too, because you guys are giving away candy. So it's not like a real, angry dentist. It's like no sugar ever,
That's right. That's right.
But you obviously know your audience in that fact. So, which is really cool. Also kind of talking through that, I've noticed that especially businesses that do this really well is, kind of the give for give type thing, or the, I'm trying to, one for one, I guess is what the phrase is. So I know Tom Shoes kind of made that big a couple of years ago, and some people have done really well with it, but also it's not. You can definitely tell the businesses that are doing it for a marketing ploy or a PR stunt. Basically, it's like, hey, if you buy this, then we'll do this. But I know that the businesses that do really well are the ones saying, hey, there's nothing that you have to do, and we're still going to donate or still going to give. I know that you guys do at PDA. I know some of that stuff with the Build-A-Bear every year too, which is really cool. And so that way it's donated. I'm trying to think of, so tell us, where do you guys donate?
Sure. So every Christmas or around in December, our doctors and staff actually go and build bears at the actual Build-A-Bear store in our local mall. And they actually build twins. So they'll build two bears that look exactly alike. And one of those bears is used as a patient giveaway within our practice and on social media. And then the other bear is actually donated usually to a local children's shelter. So this year it was donated to the Children's Safety Center, which is a community nonprofit that we've been in, dealings with for the last 4 or 5 years, I think. And so we attend there and plan out a lot of their big gala they have every year. And so it went to children that were using their services within the last year. They have a big Christmas party. And so that was some of the gifts that those kids got to receive, from their parents or from their guardian, for attending that party. Then the parent could pick that as a gift. So we did 12 of those, I believe.
Wow.
So we had 12 sets of twins. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you imagine? No, right? If they were real twins, right? No. So.
It like triggered all kinds of things in me with that comment, because I'm like, we have triplets basically right now. So 12 sets of twins. I'm like, oh. Yeah, no, and that's true too. But where it's like I said, it connects with your audience because it's obviously something that they want, but you're giving it to an organization. You're not just writing a check. You're not just presenting whatever. But it's like, this is going to benefit both your customer and also the organization that you're giving it to. So, and that's hard for some businesses. I know, because it's if they're a cleaning service, or if they're they spray for bugs or something like that. There's a lot of different small businesses. what, Lauren? See, if you guys are not watching on video, there's anything that you guys have to pay attention, because there's facial expressions from Lauren that are just priceless. I'm like, I know I'm like either heading down a wrong path or I've said something. So do tell, Lauren. You can't just make the faces. Please.
Oh, I just thought it was funny. We were talking about giveaway, like spray for bugs. Like that's what.
He must need a home inspection or something. He needs his yearly bug spray done. So
Here's the deal. I do. We're starting. I mean, a spring is coming. It's freezing outside right now, but spring is coming. Okay. Mm-hmm. So those are the things that me, as a responsible homeowner, I'm trying to think about. So if somebody was giving away a bug spray thing, I would definitely want to.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
That's right, exactly. Right. I would also take a packet of cleaning products. Like, give me some Mr. Clean and some Lysol. I'm fine with that.
There you go. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. So, yeah. Well, and that's just it. And I don't know if we've talked about this before, but one of the companies that we've worked with did like this big fall. Like, it was kind of like, hey, what to do to kind of fall proof your home, and they were a company that had nothing to do with cleaning, fall proofing, anything like that, but that actually got more engagement than a lot of their other posts. So just because it's providing that value, it's knowing exactly their customer, even if it has nothing to do with their product. And so I think that's what's hard for a lot of small businesses, is like trying to think outside the box. They always feel like it has to be related to what they sell. I would never have said candy giveaways would correlate with a dentist. Like, obviously, I mean, well, maybe it does, because like if you eat it, but you don't want kids to have cavities. You don't want them to come back and see you, right? You want them, just the yearly checkups. But it is one of those things where it's kind of like that doesn't even, it's not even the same ballpark. So anyway, it's one of those things that I think that what are some ways that you guys have seen even small businesses really interact with their audience, find out with polling or with what they're actually going to engage with, or ways that they can offer more value? Have you guys seen something that's different that maybe I haven't seen, or something you can share with our audience?
I'm leaving this on you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm
We're looking
sit
at
here
you,
and think
Lauren.
and let you talk, right?
There are so many ways to engage with your audience. And I think it kind of goes, you know, I can share a few examples, but I think it's knowing what your audience would be excited about. You know, when we're talking about a pediatric dentist office, I mean, obviously there's a real big element of fun. That's what they're going for and everything. Um, but when you start getting, you know, into other businesses, it's going to depend. But I know through Insta stories, you can do some really fun interactions. And actually, Amy did some really cool ones with the Oscars. That was really creative.
Yeah,
And those kids don't flip and care about the Oscars, but their parents do, which is really cool. And so I thought that was awesome. I think giveaways have been really fun ways. I know that one of the clients I've worked for, they did a really cool, they gave away T-shirts that had their logo. They were celebrating 30 years. And so they asked their customers to take pictures in their T-shirts and the places that they were at, which was a really cool way to kind of include their customers on their site and to kind of honor them, which was really cool. Goodness, I'm trying to think of some other ones that have been creative.
Yeah.
Do you see me writing that down right now? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Well, I think even Slim's Chickens, which is a local restaurant, they had people take their like cup on vacation for the summer with them, and it was like, hey, we'll repost. You take the cup and you put it on the beach, or if you're in Rome or whatever, you know. And so it was cool to see their logo in different places, but it was obviously something that is kind of like, oh, our customers are traveling, and then being able to bounce off that, you know. So.
We did flat doctors one year. We did, instead of flat Stanley, we did the flat doctors. So they took them on vacation, and then they posted their picture. That was really cool. That was a few years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was fun times. Yeah, the doctors didn't like that their heads were like on these big sticks, but you know, they got over it.
For sure.
My doctors, for some reason, are really shy, and I haven't really figured that out yet. But we're gonna get them in there. We're gonna do it.
So let's talk about like even customers coming into your location, and we all hate filling out a bunch of forms. Do you guys have any thoughts around how even some small businesses have, you know, made it fun and interactive to be able to kind of get in touch with their audience or maybe capture some information, an email address? One I think of is Tacos for Life. They do the phone number check, and they have the you basically enter your phone number, and it shows you even people, not their last name, but it's people who have frequented the restaurant, like who their leaderboard is, to show you like how many times they've been in the restaurant. And so it's kind of funny because it's like I always see there was one girl, it was like halfway through the month, you know, like 14 days into the month, 15, and she'd already been there like 32 times. Like something is going on here to where you are just, but it made me, I was like, well, I want to come back more. Like I want to engage a little bit more. Like not that I wanted to be there that many times, but I love
super competitive.
I know you really like Tacos for
I
Life.
do.
We know how much you like it. So,
I do. I have my favorites. So, but yeah, is there anything that you guys have seen in that aspect to like capture a customer's interest or maybe figure out a pain point whenever they're actually in your location? Rather than just pulling through digital or, you know what I mean? But because I know we deal with a lot of brick and mortar companies. So go ahead, Amy.
Oh, you think I'm supposed to have an answer to this?
You were like,
okay,
like you were just ready to roll.
No, I'm like overwhelmed because I don't have an answer for that right now. But I'm thinking, I mean, we are going to be doing a electronic, you know, if you fill out your paperwork online, you know, we're going to put big signs up inside the office and on social media, but we're going to try for them to enter to win gift cards. So to kind of start pushing, and it's more of us, we're quote a paperless office, and we have more paper than anything I've ever seen. Brian, you've seen my desk. So yes, but it's, you know, it's one of those things that we're trying to strive to help kind of with the appointment timing. So it's also a benefit to the parent to get it done ahead of time, that it will make their appointment more, you know, run more efficiently. I actually just did a Facebook Live on that the other night. Nice. About, you know, how, and that was, you know, again, that's a topic that I just we were having a doctor's meeting. The doctors were like, how can we get these parents to show up on time, and how can we make parent or appointments run more efficiently? Because if they are even a couple minutes late, we totally understand that things happen. People get flat tires. Kids aren't ready to get out of school yet. They can't find their jacket. They can't, so we understand it's not necessarily someone's fault, but we want to try to make it as easy as possible. So then we came up with a list of like 3 things like that we could, get out into the community from an educational standpoint of arriving to try to arrive 15 minutes early. Because if you're attempting that 15 minutes early, it's less likely you're actually going to be late. You might actually be on time, and then one of those was being able to fill out your paperwork online. And I've had 3 people since I sent out that email on Monday. I had a girl call me today from work and was like, how do I tell them how they can do this? I didn't even know that they could get a PIN number and stuff without me having to email them. So the email went out, and we all know the story. It caused a little bit of a ruckus with the email, but it ended up being really good, and it was able to become content for Facebook. And I've had a lot of feedback from parents on that. So it ended up being something that was just in a meeting discussion that turned into some content that became valuable for them, that can be done inside the practice without having to do necessarily anything on social media. It was just an email blast that went out.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you tied that back to not just because it's obviously makes it easier for you guys to do business, but
sure,
also you're giving time back to that parent, because the last thing you want to do is run in with a bunch of toddlers and then be sitting there filling out paperwork and they're running all over the place. Even though it's a super fun environment, still don't want your kids jumping off the jungle,
right?
Things hanging up. Like, so as a parent, you're giving me time back by allowing me to obviously fill this stuff out online too. So that's awesome. Right. That's awesome. And that goes back to knowing your client, knowing exactly what their pain points are. If it's you guys are moms who are trying to get kids out of school and get them to the appointments and all the things happening with that. Hey, if it makes it easier to get a $10 Chick-fil-A gift card that you can grab food on the way or food afterwards or something like that, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. So.
Right. And another inside office thing, like for brick and mortar type things, is we always try to have something we call the sorry gifts. So we have like Chick-fil-A gift cards on standby. So if we mess up inside our practice, or like I've even went and given them to a mom who was like having a hectic day, and just you could just tell she was just, it was just, here are 4 gift cards, go get your kids some lunch, like, take a break and just, be able to calm down and stuff like that. And those things, that wasn't put out on social media for anybody to see. That mom, the mom sent a thank you card and things like that. But those aren't things that were put out in public necessarily. But I guarantee you, she probably told somebody about it.
Oh, yeah.
She told her friends and things. So there are things that you can have even on hand that you can just kind of keep, within your office or your store or whatever, to be able to provide services for people, should something arise. Because if anybody's listening, if they're small business owners, we have to be able to admit that we make mistakes sometimes. And, for us, that was a huge deal. So, and I can't even tell you how long we've been keeping those, because we've kept movie cards, McDonald's cards, Chick-fil-A cards. Now it's just a standard Chick-fil-A because it's, amazing and everybody wants it. Right. So, but I mean, those are things you can do just with inside your, your brick and mortar that will still give value to your customers.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's definitely, like I said, it kind of ties everything together of knowing the pain points, being able to take responsibility for messing up, or just not doing it for everybody to see, but actually being able to, bring value to your customer, even if it's just that one, to make her day a little bit better. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. And the best marketing is the word of mouth. So that's
right.
Definitely, she's probably singing your praises just because of that little gesture. So, all right. So any final words to kind of wrap up this conversation around just, bringing value to your customers, knowing your customers? Any final thoughts, Lauren?
Well, we've talked specifically about Facebook today. I think if you are not really active or not really present and you're a small business owner, to give it a try and not be scared, and to try different tools that Facebook has. I know Amy has tried a lot and she's seen some great success, and it is a little bit intimidating. I know Facebook Live can be very scary at first, but once you start going, you see the value in it and it's pretty awesome. So I really encourage you, if you haven't tried it, you really need to.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I want to piggyback on that, if you don't mind, is that
Absolutely.
that was a huge ordeal for me. Was I was nervous, I was intimidated. I don't like the sound of my own voice. I don't like, and Brian did an amazing job of encouraging me and was just, was very instrumental in us getting started. And once I started, now you can't get me to shut up. So, that's okay. But it isn't as bad as you think it is. And the value that you can get, if you can just break that wall down for yourself, and the value that you will get in return will be way more than you'll probably ever expected. So I too piggyback on Lauren and say I encourage anybody who's not utilizing their Facebook page, they let it just sit and they haven't posted anything for years, or whatever, just go in and just do it. Go big or go home. That's what I say.
Yeah. It's the craziest thing. People want to interact with you. They want that. And then when you start interacting with them, it just, it makes them a raving fan of your business. So that's great. So to finish up, so Amy, where can people find out more information about you, or if they want to get contact, if they have questions or anything like that, how can they contact you?
Okay, well, you can reach me on my email, which is amy@smilesarewild.com. You can also reach out to us on Facebook. You can just search for Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics. And you can find us on Instagram at Smiles Are Wild.
Smiles Are Wild.
Smiles Are Wild.
That's right. And
with the country accent at the same time.
Yeah, goes with that farm theme. So, all right.
That's right.
Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it and hope you found some value in this. Make sure to check out GoRogueX.com for all the show notes. We try to provide it and make it easy for you over there. And then reach out to us if you have any questions or anything. But other than that, have an awesome day.